Hello, and welcome to my presentation on the natural killer cell-based therapy by yours truly. So, firstly, I want to talk about what are NK cells or natural killer cells. So, I only do this to elongate the video, to make it past that 10-minute mark we need to hit, because I know obviously every single person here remembers every single term that we've ever learned in immunology. I mean, there's so few of them. How could you possibly ever forget any of the terms that we use for immunology? I mean, they're just so easy to remember. They have such easy to remember names. They're all unique. None of them blend together at all. And so I really only talk about NK cells, what they are, just to elongate the presentation and make it past that 10-minute mark. So what are NK cells? Basically, they are part of your innate immunity, and what they do is they are serial killers. They literally just find other cells that are infected or there's something wrong with them, and then they shoot them. Their entire job is just murder other cells. And so how they do this is they target MHC class 1 receptors on cell surfaces. So all cells have MHC class 1 receptors. However, when a cell gets infected by a virus or something goes wrong with it, what tends to happen is the number of MHC class 1 receptors on the cell surface tends to decrease. And so NK cells, they see this decrease, and then they shoot the cell. What they typically use perforin and granzyme to shoot the cell and have it die. So what perforin does, perforin just splits open this cell membrane, and then the granzymes just destroy everything inside. And that's what causes the cells to undergo apoptosis. So I don't know if you've ever seen cells undergo apoptosis. I know I haven't ever seen a picture of it. That's freaky. So now we know what NK cells are. We know what NK cells do. So what are they good for? What are they using for? What is NK cell therapy? Well, there's this really rare disease called cancer. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but it's pretty bad. And so what cancer does is it's basically uncontrolled cell growth. Uncontrolled cell growth and division. And so the cells just grow and divide very, very, very quickly without any regard for any of the checkpoints or anything in the cell. And that causes a lot of problems because that's a lot of energy. It gets into the bloodstream. You have thousands of tumors growing, and it almost certainly kills you. And so the interesting thing with cancer, though, is a lot of cancers, what they do is they downregulate the MHC class 1 receptors. So we can use that. And so bada bing, bada boom, super easy. Just inject people with a bunch of NK cells. You did it. You found the cure to cancer. We can celebrate now. We can go home. It is done. Fantastic. Oh, if only it was that simple. Now, you see, the problem with just injecting people with a bunch of NK cells, other than the fact that your body would recognize those NK cells as foreign and then destroy the NK cells, is that cancer is very, very good at evading your immune system, including your NK cells. Very good at just dodging everything. And so how most cancers do this, how a lot of cancers do this, is they use the inhibitory receptors on the NK cell. You see, NK cells and other immune cells have what's called inhibitory receptors. And what they do is once they're activated, they slow down the cell. And they basically keep the cell from causing mass murder. Because if it didn't have any stopgaps in place, then the NK cells would just keep killing and killing and killing and basically destroy your body from the inside. So these inhibitory receptors are very, very important. However, cancer utilizes these techniques and it hijacks them so that your innate immune cells and your NK cells don't target the cancer. And so essentially what it does is it turns your NK cells into sweet, sweet old people. Yes, they're nice. They're sweet. They're great. They make fantastic pie. but we don't need pie. We need murderers. So when it comes to cancer, at least. So basically, what NK cell based therapy aims to do is it aims to turn your grandma NK cells into cold blooded killers. And so, one of the most prominent NK cell therapies, how it does it, is it uses what's called the NKG2A receptor on NK cells, or as I like to call it, the grandma receptor. So what this grandma receptor does is it's essentially what we've talked about. It slows down the NK cells, stops them from killing things as efficiently, and basically makes them useless against cancer. And so what this specific therapy does is it uses antibodies, specifically that. That is what it is called. Oh boy, I love immunologists and their very easy, intuitive names that they come up with things. But essentially, it uses this specific kind of monoclonal antibody. And what it does is it comes and it binds to the grandma receptor and basically inactivates it. The cancers can't use them anymore. So the grandmas are always in murder mode. They cannot be stopped. And so there have been some clinical trials that have been done and that have been performed. And we found that mixing the antibodies with other antibodies, also with a very, very, to remember names like durvalumab and cetuximab, increase the efficiency and make the NK cells more active and more able to destroy the viruses. That's how this specific kind of NK therapy works. There are many, many, many others. For example, there is one where scientists are looking to use IL-15, a cytokine, to pre-activate the NK cells to make them hypervirulent. And so the cancer cells wouldn't be able to use the grandma receptor as much because the NK cells would already be super activated and virulent. Another thing that scientists are looking into is stem cell transplants. So stem cell transplants are very common for a lot of diseases. They just replace all of the cells that make your immune cells. And so this would replace all your immune cells, but they would infuse NK cells, donor NK cells into that to try and help fight the cancer. And my personal favorite is NK cells have a kind of memory. They have specific memory functions where they can remember things. And so some scientists are actually trying to develop vaccines to train the NK cells on how to fight specific kinds of cancer. And that is quite wild. Imagine in the future we might have vaccines for cancer. Just get a shot and you won't get cancer anymore. That's an amazing thought. And so basically right now, NK cell-based therapy is strongly in its infancy. It's very, very, very new. However, there's a lot of interesting things going on, and the future does look extremely hopeful. We're looking at things from a different angle. This is the first time we are ever looking towards using your actual immune system to fight cancer. And so this is some really, really interesting research. And who knows, someone's sitting one day go on to use NK cells and find a cure for cancer. Well, that was my presentation. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Here are the references. And I hope you had a great day. And hopefully this is indeed longer than 10 minutes.